Hey everyone, I wanted to add some commentary to my current experience right now. My friend Paul, who was on a mage, switched over to hunter, and we've been climbing, but we've been running into some warrior comps, especially with priest. Now this one in particular is a holy priest, but you'll see it's still quite a problem. There's also a gear difference here. That warrior has massive HP. Paul's over here in full blues. I have about full conquest on my healer, but that warrior is something else. We tried initially the traditional route of fighting DPS on DPS and CCing the heals, and that was not working. The warrior could overpower every time we did that. So now we switched to a new comp where I try to remove the warrior from the game, and Paul tries to kill the healer. But you'll see that that's quite challenging. So I double open, double stun. We get an amazing open here. He gets sucked in, they're far away, Paul's in position. He gets on Paul for like 1 second, he's already 80% off. I cyclone him, he switches to me, he gets me down to 20% health. I have to tranquil to live. Pause here for a second, just so you can see. He eclipsed Paul's damage completely, almost doubled it, got to almost 1,000,000 damage in, 5 seconds. Okay. He's back on Paul. I'm trying to heal up. Luckily he didn't target me right now. He gets back on me, a bear skin, go into a tree, and I'm desperately trying to heal. I throw a root on him. I'm healing non-stop. Another root. Another cyclone. So I've done 2 roots now. I've done 2 cyclones. I've done a bash. I've done a vorpal. Really just trying to keep him out of the game. 3rd cyclone. Ruin his charge. I put some hots on Paul. Just healing. He's just going to town. Paul disarms, or disorients rather. He's still trying to stay on the priest. I decided to get in here to lock down the priest maybe for kill potential, but he gets away. He gets really low. And he turtles in a second, I believe. Maybe it's a little bit later he turtles. He puts a tar trap out. That's my 4th cyclone now on the DPS. Just trying to keep him at bay. He only fights like half the battle, but the times he does, he makes up for the damage 2 or 3-fold easily. Another root. It's my 3rd or 4th root. He feared Paul there, stunned him. Throw another root on there. Okay, this place I take a chance. I noticed the warrior's about half health, and I decide to tie up the healer maybe to do a quick swap here. But Paul's getting nerfed or nuked. Gets down to super low health. Here's that turtle. He barely pulled that one off. He wastes a kick. I'm at health again. He just comes over, chunks up 200k health off my health. Priest is DPSing a little bit. Paul stuns him. Get rooted. By now, damping's almost at 50%. It gets really tough to keep everyone up. My mana's starting to get low too. I throw up like 6 cyclone on that with the DPS. I'm just healing both of us right now, trying to keep us up. Use Innervate, so I can just spam. Just spamming heals. They're spamming heals too. I accidentally hit that orb here for some reason. I didn't think I was that close, but it doesn't really affect the rest of this game. Okay, Paul's getting targeted again. I threw my 7th cyclone on that warrior root again. It's like my 7th root. He stuns. He's doing a good job at keeping Paul tied up to keep his heals alive. I prolong that stun there, that rake. Follow up with a cyclone, my 8th cyclone. A little DPS on the heals, do another vorpal. Everyone's topped off here. We're doing okay. They're about half health. He gets on Paul again. Paul chunks to 75%. There's my 9th cyclone, 50%. 40%, 20%, 10%. He's just dropping like a rock. And now I'm out of mana. One of the reasons why I post this, I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I think we played this pretty well. Maybe a little fine-tuning here and there could have been done, but it just felt like an uphill battle since the beginning, and his damage was insane. If you look at that, over 4 million, and he was out of the battle, out of range half the game. Okay, I want to contrast that last battle with a successful outcome here. Now this warrior is a little less geared, and it's not a fury warrior, it's an arms warrior. But we do a similar strategy here. Actually, this one is a little bit different. You'll see a little bit different. Opening's the same though. I do like to take advantage of the double opening. I've heard people say you're not supposed to do that as a druid. You're supposed to stay back. It puts you in jeopardy. But most of the time, whenever we open like that, it puts us at a really good starting place, at least in 2s. Maybe in 3s not as well, but in 2s we can control it pretty well. This battle, actually, they happen to get lucky and run on the other side trying to find us, and we mess up the opening, but that's okay. We started here anyway. I throw an overgrowth on Paul. He's going to hit real hard, so I just use every cooldown I have pretty much. Except for Nature's Grasp. He switches on me. I go tree form, throw down a couple roots, heal myself up a little bit. I'm just keeping him out for now. This is... Ooh, he reflects it back at me. I know Paul's going to get targeted real soon, so I go over there. Put on some hots. First cocoon is popped on the healer. I do run reactive resin too, especially against DPS to try to heal up. Paul's doing a great job at DPSing right now. I CC the heal, CC the DPS. It's good fear. I was out of position there. I was too close. Okay, here's a risky part. I know Paul's getting a little bit low, but I see so is the warrior. So I tie up the healer, and then I try to throw some heals on Paul, and luckily he lives through that burst. The warrior's still super low, and he manages to finish him off with his pet. And the monk gets salty and tries to solo both of us, but that didn't work too well. But yeah, anyway, so we're running into a lot of rampant, or warrior. I feel like our tactic right now is try to CC the DPS, but I don't know if that's the way to do it. Like this past battle, it was obviously better for Paul to kill the warrior, but we just play what we can open on and get a kill shot with. Alright, so this last one I was really debating not showing because it's pretty embarrassing. The Druid on the other team outplayed me, and that's why they won. But I did want to highlight some tactics that were being used. I think we could have won this one if I had played better, but you'll see why. Or I'll point out why I made some obvious mistakes here. Our original plan was to CC that warrior, but because the Druid is stealth, we're going to do some opening on him. And he has a really cool mount. It's an awesome crab. So we open on him, and Druid comes out. I get a really good opening here, a bash into a clone. It forces him to pop Trinket, forces him to pop a lot of cooldowns. Paul's at full health. He's coming on me, uses a stun, trying to relieve some pressure. I'm still good though, still got good health. This warrior is nowhere near as bad as the Fury warrior. He gets on Paul. Paul lands a great trap on the heels, putting a lot of pressure on so far. I'm keeping my distance, or trying to, but Paul gets out of line of sight here just a little too far, so I go in, and that gets me bashed. I get cloned. My big mistake was to trinket that bash. I should have sat it, anticipated the clone, and trinketed that instead, but yeah. Paul turtled. I threw a little root on there to keep some distance on him, and we reset right here. Things aren't too bad yet. I see the Druid's in good position over there, staying out of any way I can clone. Paul's doing a great job at doing damage to that warrior. I try to leap there to stun the healer, and I missed. Mistake number 1, or 5. I also get nature lock there and stunned. But Paul's still doing a good job staying alive. I get clone chained here for a little bit. Again, he did a great job of disorienting that warrior. He was globally aware of what's going on. Freeze trap. Alright. I got full DR on me, so they can't stun me or clone me anymore for a little bit, which is nice. Except for that. Okay, now I can clone for days. But Paul's a little too far away from me right now, so I have to stop that chain and run in there to heal him. I use a lot here to keep him up. And then I decide to defensively clone the warrior so that I can heal him up. I try not to do that too often. There are times when I do that and I don't communicate well enough and he dumps some cooldowns while he's in a clone, but we pulled it off pretty well that time. Another freeze trap. We overlap a little bit there. He gets out. Okay, she's coming in to try to trap me again. I thought I was out of range there. Maybe she's expecting increased range. I'm not sure. There we go. Made a mistake there on her part, and I get some clones off. She trinkets again. They overlap some fear. Get some DR on my cyclones. Paul's getting really low here. And they accomplish what they need to by distracting me and CCing me there. And I can't keep them back up. And that's the end of that. But despite all that, Paul did a lot of damage. The healer on his side, or on their side, is what compensated the difference. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on how to deal with warriors, the first one I felt I played very well. Paul and I played very well. That last one I can see some things we could have done differently. But for sure on the first one with that Fury Warrior, if there's any suggestions, I'm all ears. Thank you guys.